Trump's audacious peace initiative, a gambit for a divided world. The world watches with bated breath as former U.S. President Donald Trump takes center stage in the ongoing Ukraine-Russia peace talks. In a bold and unexpected move, Trump has engaged in direct discussions with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This diplomatic overture has sent shockwaves through the international community. The stakes are incredibly high. The conflict has already claimed countless lives. It has also destabilized the entire region. Trump's involvement in the peace process is controversial, to say the least. Critics question his motives and his ability to act as an honest broker. They point to his past relationship with Putin, which has been characterized as being too friendly. However, supporters of Trump's involvement argue that he is one of the few world leaders who can talk to Putin directly. They believe that his unconventional approach may be the key to ending the conflict. At the heart of Trump's peace plan is a proposal to divide Ukrainian assets between Russia and Ukraine. The details of this division remain unclear. However, it is believed to involve territorial concessions and the sharing of resources such as natural gas and power plants. Such a proposal is likely to be met with resistance from both sides. It could also set a dangerous precedent for future conflicts. The world is watching closely to see if Trump can pull off this diplomatic miracle. If he is successful, it will be a major foreign policy victory. However, if he fails, the consequences could be disastrous. A glimmer of hope trumps optimism and the promise of asset division. Despite the immense challenges, former President Trump has expressed cautious optimism about the prospects for peace. He has spoken of his belief that a deal can be reached that is beneficial to both sides. Trump's optimism appears to be rooted in his belief that Putin is a rational actor who is ultimately interested in peace. This assessment contrasts sharply with the views of many Western leaders. They see Putin as an aggressor who cannot be trusted. Central to Trump's proposed peace plan is the concept of asset division. This involves the potentially explosive idea of dividing Ukrainian territory and resources. While the specific details remain shrouded in secrecy, reports suggest that the plan could involve Russia retaining control of the Crimean Peninsula. This area was annexed in 2014. It could also involve granting Russia greater autonomy over the eastern Donbas region. This area has been racked by conflict since 2014. The notion of asset division has been met with a mixed response. Some analysts argue that it could provide a pragmatic solution to the conflict. It would allow both sides to claim victory while avoiding further bloodshed. However, others have condemned the idea as appeasement. They argue that it would reward Russian aggression and set a dangerous precedent for future conflicts. The success of any peace plan hinges on the willingness of both sides to compromise. Russia has shown little willingness to back down from its demands. This includes recognition of Crimea as Russian territory and security guarantees for the Donbas region. On the other hand, Ukraine remains determined to preserve its territorial integrity. It is unclear whether Trump's proposed asset division will be enough to bridge the divide. A fragile truce. The 30-day ceasefire and the quest for Putin's endorsement. In a significant development, a 30-day ceasefire agreement was reached last week in Saudi Arabia. This fragile truce represents a glimmer of hope in the midst of the ongoing conflict. It is a testament to the tireless efforts of international mediators who have been working behind the scenes to bring the two sides to the negotiating table. However, the ceasefire remains precarious, with reports of violations emerging from the front lines. Former President Trump has made securing Putin's endorsement of the ceasefire a top priority. He believes that Russia's full cooperation is essential for the truce to hold, and for meaningful peace talks to commence. Trump has reportedly appealed to Putin's desire to avoid further bloodshed and to focus on Russia's domestic challenges. Whether these appeals will resonate with the Russian leader remains to be seen. The ceasefire agreement is a positive step. However, it is merely the first step on a long and arduous road to peace. The true test will be whether the ceasefire can be extended beyond the initial 30 days. It will also be a test of whether it can pave the way for a lasting political solution. The Kremlin's iron will. Russia's demands and the specter of an uncompromising stance. Russia, under the leadership of Vladimir Putin, has adopted an uncompromising stance in the peace talks. Moscow's demands center around what it perceives as its core security interests. These interests include guarantees that Ukraine will never join NATO and a recognition of Russia's annexation of Crimea. These demands have been met with resistance from Ukraine and its Western allies, who view them as non-starters. Putin has repeatedly invoked the specter of NATO expansion as a threat to Russia's security. He has accused the West of breaking promises made after the collapse of the Soviet Union. Putin's rhetoric has become increasingly bellicose in recent months. This suggests that he is not interested in backing down from his demands. The Kremlin's uncompromising stance stems from a number of factors. This includes Putin's belief that Russia is locked in a geopolitical struggle with the West. It also includes his determination to restore Russia to its former glory. Any peace agreement that does not address Russia's core demands is likely to be rejected by Putin. This makes the prospect of a negotiated settlement increasingly unlikely. So, defending territorial integrity and the right to self-determination are like fundamental principles in international law. It's essential to, recognize each nation's right to govern itself without external interference. This respect for sovereignty helps to maintain peace and stability in the global community. And when these principles are violated, it often leads to conflict and unrest. So ensuring these rights are upheld is honestly crucial for fostering mutual respect and cooperation among nations. As the world closely monitors the peace talks, reactions from the international community have been varied. Some nations express cautious optimism, hoping for a breakthrough that could lead to lasting peace. Others remain skeptical, doubting the sincerity of the parties involved. The prospect of a negotiated settlement hangs in the balance, with global leaders urging for a compromise that could end the hostilities. Meanwhile, on the ground, military maneuvers continue unabated. Both sides engage in strategic positioning, with each move scrutinized by analysts and observers. The escalation of hostilities raises concerns about the potential for a broader conflict. As tensions mount, the world watches anxiously, hoping for a de-escalation that seems increasingly elusive. In a significant development, the United States announces the suspension of military and intelligence aid to Ukraine. This decision sends shockwaves through the international community, altering the dynamics of the conflict. Allies and adversaries alike reassess their positions, as Ukraine faces a new reality without the support it had come to rely on. The suspension marks a turning point with far-reaching implications for the region. As the situation unfolds, the path ahead remains uncertain. Will the ongoing efforts lead to a peaceful resolution? Or are we witnessing the prelude to further conflict? The choices made in the coming days and weeks will shape the future of the region. The world holds its breath, hoping for a path to peace but preparing for the possibility of more turmoil.